Hello, folks. Hope you're well. I thought I'd do a slightly different vlog today because this week I have become even more geriatric than I already was. I mean, to put it into context, I am always the youngest person. When I go for my testosterone jab every month, I'm the only person there that isn't retired. When I go and pick up my thyroid meds, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be at least in the lowest 10% of people in town who are getting them. The only other people I know who are on them are my mother-in-law and other old people. Not that she's that old, bless her, but I think she's in her 70s. And yeah, long story short, actually, she's not in her 70s. She's in her late 60s. Luckily, she'll never see this. Long story short, I've managed to get even older now. And I know that some of you already have one of these, and you'll have seen it in the picture already because I've done that for clickbaity goodness. But I've got one of these bad boys. I'm going to put it on and show you how amazing. I mean, ladies, watch out. This is very sexy stuff. But look at the state of this. The sound isn't great. I can't. You know what? I didn't think about this putting it on. I have to wear this. Where are we? No. I should have just recorded this separately. How do you like that? I can't get it right. I'm a calamity. Where are we? There we go. So I'm gonna take my glasses off a second. I can't take them off. I'm stuck. Ta-da! So yeah, take that off. And I got to wear that in bed every day now, every night, because apparently 14 times a night I stop breathing. An hour, sorry, 14 times an hour I stop breathing at night, and it causes snoring, it causes breathing problems, it causes this, that, and the other. Apparently, it also causes me to be overweight, which, I mean, eating and fecklessness and not doing much exercise is obviously part of that as well. But the fact of the matter is that I've essentially not got any energy. I yawn all day, I snore all night, I wake up feeling worse than when I went to sleep, and I generally got to the point where I was like, look, Claire's getting really fed up because in the morning she wakes up and she's like, la, she jumps out of bed and she runs around getting dressed, doing her hair, sorting the kids out. This isn't strictly true. She's knackered and she's broken and she's as old as I am, but bless her, she has the energy and the strength and she perseveres. And I was just like, I don't understand what I'm doing differently, other than going to bed 2 hours after her and that kind of thing. I don't know what I'm doing differently. We eat the same food. She eats more than I do. Yes, she's busy with work, but we are both quite busy. I was thinking to myself, like, every time I'm with the kids, I'm either carrying one of them around or whatever, and I can do all that. I went on my walk with my mates around the farms and that. I was fine. I was hot because I wore a jumper, but I was fine. Everyone was surprised I could do it. I was like, I've walked loads. I can do long walks. I just find it boring. I can do stuff, strenuous stuff, but a lot of the time I'm just like, I'm a bit knackered or I'm a bit tired. Or I just don't feel right. And the doctor said this would be the answer. It's probably because I'm tired. I need one of these, a CPAP machine, basically. A little tube goes into that, and what it does is it blasts air at your face all night, which is as fun as it sounds. But it isn't too bad at all. You don't really feel it unless you move it. If you move it back from your face, you suddenly feel the air hitting you. But when it's on your face, you don't get any problems. And I just thought, you know what? I'll do a video because I was chatting to people. I chatted to Kev, and he was like immediately looking him up. A mate of mine was looking into it. My sister looked into it. Not that I'm trying to name and shame people, but I feel like it's worth talking about because I basically spoke to the doctor and I said, I feel worse when I get up in the morning than when I go to bed. And that's mad. And I don't feel normal until about 1 o'clock once I've kind of got up and got going. And they were like, that's not normal. So they did all these different tests and stuff. And they were like, look, you are overweight. But other than that, and I'm a little bit unique because, and I say unique, I don't mean that to sound like I'm a snowflake or I'm making excuses. I've spoken to my doctors because I went through different things of trying to exercise lots. So I started running, I got a bike, all these things. And I said to the doctor after several times of doing things, it wasn't really working. And they were like, look, you're already up against it with your thyroid and your testosterone. And, you're just generally not feeling any energy. We need to build up slowly. And we tried different things. And it wasn't really working. And I'll be honest, I don't like exercise. I said that to them. And that is on me. That's a terrible thing. But I was like, it just is so uncomfortable because I'm so knackered. And they were like, right, well, why don't we do a sleep test? They put an oxygen thing on my finger. And they were like, we'll measure it overnight. And this is the thing I complained about. In 2017, I did this, and they forgot to tell me that I have sleep apnea from it all, and that I'm not getting enough oxygen through the night. So they were like asking me how that was going in one of our recent reviews. And I said, what are you talking about? And they went and dug it out and they realized they hadn't sent me any letters. They'd just written it on my file. So 3 years on, they sent me another test to do on my finger. And they were like, okay, it's got worse. And then when I got there the other day to get the mask, the lady said to me, you stopped breathing 14 times an hour, apparently. She was like, it doesn't tell us how long for. It just shows us that it happened and your O2 went down. And I'm guessing, I mean, they could have looked at when it went back up, surely. But they were like, that's why you're feeling terrible when you wake up. And she said, that's not even particularly extreme. Like, the worst of it is some people can get it so extreme they would like die in the night. I'm quite away from that in the spectrum of how bad it could be. So she was just like, right, we'll sort the mask out. And she, first off, she gave me a small mask, which just sat like that, like just here. And I was like, okay, it feels okay. But if I open my mouth and immediately the mask was there while my mouth was open, and I was like, I can't sit, I don't want to open my mouth in the night. And suddenly I'm being bombarded with air all over my face. So we got this other one, which still isn't just, it isn't that good. If I open my mouth again, it's like, I could just about do it. But that sits on my mouth while the strap holds it on and the tube goes in there. And the idea is that if I stop breathing, it starts blitzing loads and loads of air in at once. And I was kind of like, oh, I wonder what that would feel like. And let me tell you, I'm guessing that around 5:30, 6ish is when I get my worst moment, because the first 2 days, all the night, I kept having these odd bits where I was like, oh, okay. In my sleep, I could just, I thought about it almost like I was dreaming, but I was aware of it. And then 2 nights in a row at 6 a.m, I was like, what the hell's going on? And it was just bombarding me with air. And I'm guessing they're the worst bits. I've got used to it now. I wasn't woken up by it last night. It's been like 4 or 5 days. But the big thing about it, even after the first use, I woke up in the next morning thinking, hang on a minute, like the front of my head feels different. It feels clearer, like sharper. I don't know what the word is really. I feel like just things, I could be bothered. I literally woke up and thought, I'm awake. I could get up and get ready. And I didn't straight away. I was laying there looking at my phone thinking, I'm not used to this. I've not got to be anywhere for 4 hours. I'm awake. It was like 7 o'clock and I'm like, okay, I'm awake. And I was like, that's weird. And then the next day it was again, I woke up and I just thought, oh, I could just get up. And so 4 days in a row, today's the first day I actually got up. Today's the first day I went, look, I really should get up, and got up and got ready and was downstairs like half hour before work and all of this. But even now, 4 days in, the fact I was up and ready for work for 30 minutes before I was supposed to be there at my desk is amazing, because I was turning up to work I start at 8:30 in my garage at my computer, and I was getting down here at like 29 minutes past 8, going, oh my god, I've got to set everything up, get everything ready, then get a cup of tea, and then keep going a bit, and I forgot to put this on or do that. And this time I come down, I was just sat here, I started reading through my emails and I was already ready and going, and I thought, what a difference. Honestly, like if you're basically, I reached out to 2 people because I knew one of them snores a lot and has the same issues, and one of them was feeling foggy, and I was just like, talk to someone about this. It's a proper game changer. And I just feel excited, and I feel like some of that's going to be a bit of a psychological boost because I'm excited, but I cannot, if you've not experienced it, the sense of the feeling of the knackeredness, the tiredness, the lack of the fog, the weirdness of it all, and you think you snore quite a lot and maybe you don't breathe enough in the night, it's worth checking this out. I do feel like I had to walk through a bit of a minefield with the nurse, because they were like, do you think you could try just losing a bit of weight? And I was like, look, I'm going to level with you. I've been trying to lose weight for the best part of a decade. And it's only gone one way, really. I sort of said to her, look, I was a reasonable mid-level weight. I was heavy, but I wasn't that bad. And then I was putting antidepressants, and I got into the mid-20s in weight, and that was shocking. And I hated myself, and I was really unhappy. And I went from the mid-20s down to 19 and a bit. And I said, I basically stayed there. Genuinely, every time I go for my jab every 3 months, my testosterone jab with the old people, I asked the nurse if I can weigh myself. And every time I stand on the scales, I'm hoping their scales ain't just broken, because every time I stand on them, it says 126 kilograms, which is probably too much information telling the internet how much I weigh, but I weigh 126 kilograms. And that sounds a lot, because it is a lot. But I'm not as bothered about it, because I remember when I weighed a lot more than that. And I remember when I weighed a little bit less than that, but I was constantly flogging myself to try and get to 14 stone. I was like 16 stone. And I kept thinking, I've got to be 14, I've got to be 14. I remember being 18 stone and not eating for a fortnight so that I could lose weight for my wedding, and getting down to 16 stone in like the space of about 3 weeks. And I kid you not, I was eating one sausage and one burger a day, one vegetarian sausage, one vegetarian burger. And I remember my family being like, this isn't healthy. And I was like, shut up, because I got to lose weight. I promised Claire I'd be 16 stone for our wedding. I'm not blaming anyone on that. It was just me being mad. And it was a year after that I discovered my thyroid was broken, because I basically ruined myself. I remember going to uni trying to be all diety, and Kev will tell you, we used to go through diet fads all the time. And that's what broke my thyroid. I'm determined that that is the fact, that I was just ruining my health, trying to flog myself to get down to a weight that I wasn't meant to be at, or at least I couldn't be at, without a massive, massive lifestyle change that I'm just not capable of making. And I'm happy to admit that it's not realistic, or at least it's going to take a lot longer and a lot more effort. And so at this point, I said this to her, I was like, I am happy to stay at that weight, even though it's probably going to affect my life. If I can figure it out another way, great. I was like, my doctor has told me this mask should help with that. Basically, I said, I'm not going to suddenly become a runner or a weightlifter or a swimmer. It doesn't fit my timetable for a start, but also it's just hard to do that when you weigh this much. My doctor said to me before I spoke to this woman that wearing the mask should automatically create weight loss, because you're sleeping better and you're breathing more. So she was like, okay, well, have you considered a mouth guard? And I was like, well, I've had a mouth guard and it just didn't work. I ended up just biting through it and stuff in the night if I was stressed or whatever, and it just wasn't very good. And she was like, okay, so we'll put you on the waiting list for a CPAP. And then it was like a month and I got it. So I imagine you've got to be prepared. The way I spoke to the lady, I was lucky that what I said ticked the right boxes. I was just like, it's not going to help. I'm not going to succeed at it. So let's crack on. So yeah, they sorted it out. I mentioned on the podcast, so those of you who haven't listened to the podcast, shame on you. But also, they said to me, she measured my face from there to there. She went, you got a little face. And I was like, what do you mean I got a little face? She was like, well, it's little. You got a head and then a little face in the middle of it. And so we give you a little mask. And I was like, well, the little mask, that's the one that I opened my mouth and it went in my mouth. And I was like, oh, that's not good enough. So they gave me a medium one. So apparently I got a little face and a medium mask. She also told me I have a flat, round head, which I was like, I mean, I'm looking at myself now and it's round. I mean, I suppose it is a bit flat on the sides. It's not quite cone shaped, but it's a bit flat in the edges. But yeah, it was a little bit of an eye opener. I didn't know I had a small face and a flat, round head. So that was fun being told that. It was all end to end. It was a great experience of feeling really young, hip, and cool and attractive. But I do feel really sharp. The abuse I've gone through feels really good. This is the best outcome I could have had. I was worried that it was going to have no effect, but genuinely stupid little things like, oh, I left the light on, I'll go turn it off. I kid you not, a week ago, if I'd have left the light on while I was recording, I'd have probably just gone, do you know what, I can't be bothered to walk all the way over there. And it was just like a weird, I don't know, it felt like it was too much stuff I'd have to gear up to do it almost. And I've noticed already that I'm being a bit more, don't worry about it, I'll do that, and I'm getting stuff done. I mean, I've been smashing through work today. I feel like I was doing a lot of work already, but my productivity has already gone up today. I've smashed through a ton of work. It's just weird, and I wonder now what difference it's going to make over time, because they were saying, the full benefits will take up to 6 weeks to kind of kick in, but they did say I should start feeling better. And who knew getting air through the night was a good thing. Claire's loving it because it's silent. She doesn't hear a thing unless if it comes loose. Apparently, if it moves like that, like if it's on and it comes a bit loose, obviously you can hear my voice better. But the air starts going and really coming out of it. So on the second night, because I wore the small one on the first night and wore this on the second night, but I didn't set it up properly. And midway through the night, I must have opened my mouth, and Claire nudged me, going, "Rich, you're making so much noise. It's just air shooting out." But other than that, she said it's much better because I'm not snoring. She doesn't hear me snoring all night. So she's not having to nudge me. She's getting better sleep. I'm getting better sleep. The machine just is silent. You press a button, you put it on. It doesn't start pushing the air through until you're asleep. So it waits half an hour. I think you can set it longer. But I have it for half an hour, so it's not really doing much for half an hour. And then suddenly it starts. And yeah, it just goes through the night. And then when I'm done, I turn it off in the morning. I was obviously worried Ollie hasn't seen me wearing it yet. I told him about it and he hasn't really complained or anything. But Ben came in and was like, "What are you wearing? What is that?" And then he was just giving me a big hug because I don't know, I think he maybe thought I was unwell because I was wearing it. It does look a little bit like I'm wearing an oxygen mask in hospital or something, doesn't it? But he gave me a big cuddle and he seems happy with it. And I don't even know how long I'm supposed to wear it for, whether this is an all-time thing or whether I just hopefully lose enough weight that I don't need it. But yeah, I'm really, the weight is, I am hoping I lose weight. I would love to lose weight, but I'm sick of being one of these people that it'd be like, oh, I'm going to try this diet, I'm going to try that diet. I'm going to try this. I'm going to take up running for a couple of weeks and then hurt my back, or I'm going to ride my bike everywhere for a bit and then realize I've got nothing to do with my bike. You know, my job doesn't require me to move around. My life doesn't require me to move. I mean, other than when I'm with the kids and I'm playing with them or whatever, but just going through, my mindset is broken for just going through the motions. Like if I had a fantastic gym literally next door and all I had to do was walk in there and pump iron for a couple of hours, the thought of doing that is terrible. Like 20 minutes would be terrible. 5 minutes, it's pointless. Just going, oh, 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 for 20 minutes straight, or ugh, ugh, boring. My mind can't cope. I'd absolutely go nuts. I've tried other things. I've tried like passive stuff. It's just not, you have to really have the right, I don't know, I just don't have the mindset for it. And I'm not starving myself. I'm already a vegetarian. I already eat bloody healthy food. I'm an incredibly healthy eater. I think if anything, Claire leads me astray with crisps and biscuits from time to time. She bought some things called what's it called, tea time buddies. Tesco's had a box of like biscuit buddies or whatever they're called for drinking, like little packs of biscuits. And I was like, oh, Claire. But I've tried to relent. I've tried to like, avoid them and you know, just be healthy. But yeah, I'm a relatively normal eater who's a vegetarian. I don't feel like my diet's the problem. So it is just exercise, and I'm hoping this will gear me up to it. Don't get me wrong. If I can get down, this might give me the energy to push on. And I feel like I'm making excuses, but I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to say this should make a difference, and I'm excited about it. So yeah, I thought I'd do a video because I know I already know 3 people who absolutely are like, I'm checking that out. If you are snoring at night, and it doesn't mean you have to be fat. If you're snoring at night, what they told me is the problem isn't that I'm fat. The problem is that somewhere along the way, something's got damaged, which means that it closes up a bit when I'm breathing. And the idea is this forces it open with air. So if it closes, the air pressure builds up and then it basically punches through. So that's what's happening. That's when it went a bit nuts at 6 a.m. was it had all closed up and the air was just like, right, I'm getting through whether you like it or not. And eventually I woke up and breathed in because I was like, whoa, what's going on? And that's what happened. So before I would have just not breathed and eventually I'd have gone, oh God, I'm passing out, and I'd have woken up. But at that point I'd have felt terrible and then I'd have woken up feeling groggy. But because this punched its way through, I felt great. So yeah, that's the difference, and that is part of it. If you snore heavily, that's the answer basically. And yeah, just make a phone call, just sort it out. It was really, really easy. It didn't cost me anything. So one person I spoke to is basically just going to do it privately because they're impatient and they feel like it would be a good shout. Do that. I think it's probably like 800 quid to £1,000. I think I looked up, but I'd rather use the NHS and get all the mask and everything the way they did it than spend that, because it's exactly the same. And you get the extra care of the nurse and I've got a support line I can ring and the advice and the doctor, and they can tweak things. And they've told me if I get a bit of a dry mouth with it, they can put a humidifier on it and stuff like that. But yeah, 10 out of 10 review for me for that. I know it's a bit of a random thing to be reviewing, a CPAP machine, and I'm a bit of an old man, and hopefully I've not shamed myself too much talking about weight here. But yeah, I just want to be honest. I want to do a vlog about it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you're getting on. How's your week going? Usual questions with the comments. We're all good here. Ollie's on full-time timetable this week until such time as we decide it's not working, or next term starts. But things are looking good. I'll probably do a vlog on that on Thursday because I'll have more to talk about by then. But yeah, it's all good. We're having a happy time of it all, and yeah, fingers crossed that it continues to be good. I do feel good. I just feel surprisingly sharper than I was, and hopefully that will improve further and continue further and be great. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all soon, and yeah, have a good week. Cheers.